Fernando, I want to switch now to the other party.
Yeah.
Bernie Sanders is big crowds. He's got the excitement right now in the Democratic Party, maybe argue all the parties. What do you make of his campaign?
Well, I think he's also talking to an angry group of voters who feel disillusioned by the Democratic Party, the Republican Party, the system in general. And here you have a very articulate voice of dissent, that he's saying things that perhaps make him unelectable, but at the same time have a natural appeal. So the idea of fairness, the idea of income inequality, all those themes that he's playing very strongly on are going to be critical talking points, I think, for any Democratic candidate. He's maybe not the right vessel for it.
And he wins authenticity points. Peter Baker, Hillary Clinton was also out campaigning. A different image came out of her campaigns, which was of a piece of rope that was cordoned around her to keep the press away from her. Does that matter, or only to us who are trying to actually get the candidate to answer something?
It sort of reinforces our role as the herd. You know, it's unfortunate for her because I think it definitely provides an image that looks scripted, that looks controlled, that looks keeping her away from any questions that might actually trip her up. She's a very, very cautious candidate at the moment. She's not out there answering a lot of questions. You saw that picture of Jeb Bush just kind of like sitting there waiting into the crowd, and even if the questions are uncomfortable, he's going to answer them. She has not given that impression, and the rope doesn't help in that image. This is a small thing, but it definitely feeds into a narrative.
Mike Allen, what's the real threat from Bernie Sanders to Hillary Clinton?
There's no threat from Bernie Sanders in particular. If something bad happens to Senator Clinton, it's not going to be any one thing. It's going to be the death by 1,000 cuts. Now, what Clinton people will tell you is that about a third of Democrats are willing to talk about somebody else. And that number moves around from O'Malley to Warren to Senator Sanders, but that it's always about a third. And that eventually, as she puts out her more progressive policies, she'll be able to get some of that back. But the excitement about him is authentic. His crowds are not just big, as you said at the beginning. They're the biggest of either party. You go on Peter's,
right?
Yeah, you go on Peter's website, New York Times, and you look at what people are searching for. And on the last day, the last week, the last month, there's only two candidates who show up on that list, and it's Donald Trump and it's Bernie Sanders. People are actually interested in him.
And like Donald Trump, you know, the Republicans, the other party, sort of loves the idea of Bernie Sanders being the candidate of the authentic Democratic base, because they can say, see, this is what they all want. They're all really socialists deep down in their hearts. And we shouldn't compare the two. Bernie Sanders is a serious person, a serious candidate. He's a senator, but there is that same element of a protest vote and of a candidate who's saying something the front runner is afraid to say. And what Hillary Clinton so far has been afraid to say is, we've got to take down the rich. We've got to take down the CEOs and the billionaires. That's Bernie Sanders' message, and it's something that I would be surprised if we hear from Hillary.
All right, Molly Ball, thanks so much. I want to thank our panel. We'll be back in a moment with a preview of tonight's big soccer game.